Well, first of all, our thoughts and prayers go out to Utah and to Washington State. I mentioned to our players yesterday about those incidents that have taken place. And, we live in this world that we always think that every day we get up and we're going to control our destiny and our situations. And when you see something like that, it really hits home that two athletes, young people put themselves in a position, or however they got in that position, and it's just sad. And our prayers go out to both those universities, their families, everyone involved. So I want to make sure that's probably the most important thing I can tell you today. As far as our opponent this week, we go on the road, play a very good UCLA football team. Chip's done a nice job of building this program down there. They have a senior defense. Most of these guys are all back. They don't allow you to run the ball at all. They're very good against the run. They score a lot of points on offense. They're averaging about almost 40 points a game. Play good third down defense. They have a dynamic quarterback, can throw it, can run it. Have two big bruising runners. They run the football. Very, very complimentary football team. They don't allow you to run, but they can run the ball, and that says something. They can throw the ball downfield, very explosive in the passing game. They got a good punt returner, they're a team that plays well, and they're on a roll right now. They're playing really good. So we got to muster up our ability to stay focused. We have a lot of players that have come from Los Angeles, and they have to get their minds set to go back home, and a lot of times they get excited about going back home, but they have to keep their poise and make sure that this thing doesn't get away from them. And I think we have enough guys now that have been there numerous times in LA that hopefully they can keep their emotions in check. That's what I got. Yes, sir.
Hi, Herm Edwards Devil's Digest. I know that the run defense the last two games probably not the level that you want to see at it, and like you said, huge test coming this Saturday against UCLA. What have you seen from that specific aspect in the last two games that's probably not performing at the expectation you have?
Well, a couple of times it was a runner. It was a quarterback. That's why the yards went up. It was in the fourth quarter. Most of those situations, when you watch it unfold, we had some younger players in there as well. So all those things contribute to it, but we got to shore it up. I mean, there's no doubt, because this is a team that likes to run the football, and they will run it. There's no doubt about it.
Chris Carmen, Son of a Source. Herm, kind of building off of that, Chip Kelly does a great job at getting guys going in the wrong directions and creating extra gaps. What kind of things are you talking about with your team and your coaches to work against that?
Well, a lot of eye candy, and you have to have clean eyes. When you play with dirty eyes, it turns out being a dirty play, a bad play on your part, right? You got to play with clean eyes, a lot of eye candy, a lot of motions, a lot of shifts. They go fast, when they feel like they got you off balance, they'll run right back up to the line, won't allow you to substitute, and they go again. So you have to be ready for that. Anytime they make a big-time first down, they will go. They're a big-time fourth down team, too. They'll go for it on fourth down. When he feels like he has momentum, he's going to go for it. He's going to go for it on fourth down. We played them last year, and they went for one of them, made it. So they're very good at running their offense.
Hey, Coach, Mac Friday, Devil's Digest. Dorian Thompson-Robinson gave you guys some fits running last year. You've kind of had some of those same issues containing the quarterback rush this year. How do you go about stopping him specifically, assuming he's healthy?
I don't know if you stop him. I think you try to contain him. No one's going to stop him. Great athletes, you're not going to stop him. Okay, that word is kind of overused. You're going to stop him. You're not going to stop the guy. I mean, you're going to try to contain him and hold him to a minimum, but you have to understand your rush lanes. Anytime you run by a quarterback, our quarterback does the same thing. You run past him upfield and you open windows for the guy to escape. If you watch the last couple of times that quarterbacks ran on us, look at the rush lanes. Very obvious. You run past the quarterback, you got a problem, right? And so I think all those things come into play. You know, a lot of teams, when they go empty, you empty out the backfield, all of a sudden, if you don't have a person that's accounted for the quarterback, you get the quarterback draw. It happened to us, right? We get it one time against BYU, and the next time we do it right, and the quarterback gets hit. So you have to be aware of all those things.
Michelle Gardner, Arizona Republic. Coach, can you give us an update on some of the injuries?
Sure. Which ones you want to talk about?
Chase, Chip,
He's going to play. He's going to play. Anybody else?
Thompson?
He's going to play. Anybody else?
Those are the ones I
3
can
for
think
3.
of.
We're good. Next question.
Next question.
Hitting 100. Real simple.
Chris, you want
Yeah, Herm, just the magnitude of this game early, that can get into some players' heads sometimes, thinking about the significance of it, or do you, like, how do you sort of couch what this game is all about to them?
It's a Pac-12 game, and they're all important. You know that when you've been in this conference, and I think that's what you got to enjoy about it. You can't determine which ones, this is a big one. Well, the next one, if you win, it's a big one, and if you win again, it's a big one. They all become big, because you only play 9, and you can't lose a bunch of those Pac-12 games, because then you don't control your destiny. As long as you continue to win games in the Pac-12, you control your destiny. When you don't, then you're counting on other people to lose or something that happen, and you don't want to put yourself in that position. And I think these players have heard that from me long enough now. They understand the significance of it. You play 9 precious Pac-12 games, and they're all meaningful. They just are. And I know we'll spin it well if they didn't. Hey, to me, they're all big. Just that's the way it works, right? That's the bottom line. You got 9 games in the Pac-12. How many can you win?
questions for Coach? I got a mic up here and there's a mic up here. Anyone else? Thanks,
Coach, Prince James Story, Cronkite News. The last time y'all went on the road versus BYU, y'all had a lot of penalties. So is there something, are y'all going to prepare differently this time versus UCLA?
We didn't prepare to have 16 penalties. We went to BYU. You think we practiced that way? Just gonna have all these penalties? I mean, are you kidding me, man? Come on. You Cronkite, man. You're a smart guy. I mean, you don't ask that question. No, we don't. We don't go in games saying, oh, by the way, it's on the road. We can have a lot of penalties. We try to stay away from those. But you're right. I mean, it's a road game. It's a game where a lot of guys from Los Angeles are going home. You know that. Guys want to play good when they go home. I'm not saying they don't want to play good all the time, but there's families, there's friends, there's all these distractions, right, when you go home. And we have to be careful with that. And it's important that we do not commit a lot of fouls, because fouls get you in trouble. You give opportunities to the opponent when you get in a game where there's a lot of fouls.
Coach Jonah Krell, WCSN. So piggybacking off of that, with the progress you guys made this past week with the passing game, with the decrease in penalties, what is the message at practice this week in terms of saying, like, we made progress, we can't afford to take a step back just because it's another road game?
I think the message is when you don't give the opponent extra opportunities due to your own errors, you can play somewhat of a consistent game, both on offense and defense, and that's what you want. And when you do that, you got a chance to win. We lost to a team that has won, they're 16-1. BYU 16-1, okay? And when you watch them play, they're very consistent. They don't give teams extra opportunities due to miscues. They don't turn the ball over. They don't put themselves in bad position by getting fouls, right? And they're very consistent, so they play with consistency. And that's what you want. You want to be a consistent team. Now, that doesn't mean you're always going to win, but you give yourself a chance to win when you don't beat yourself, and that has always been my philosophy as a head coach. just don't muck it up. Just don't muck it up with fouls and penalties and turnovers. I always say, try to play a clean game. That's what every coach aspires to do. Play a clean game, and if you can do that, you have a chance to win games. Along with, you got to have talent, you got to have a good team, but that's part of the process too.
Doug Haller with The Athletic. Merlin Robertson seemed to do some good things Saturday against Colorado.
Yes.
Just how would you assess his play through the season so far?
Played a lot better. Merlin is sometimes his worst enemy in the fact that he wants to do too much. And I think this is a part of being a senior or a guy that's played a lot of football. Football is a game where you want to make a play. But you got to understand that what's required of you to make the play is do your job. And when you don't do your job, you just try to make plays, then you start guessing. And then you get yourself in a bad position not to make a play. And Merlin is so athletic and he wants to make a play, and sometimes he gets ahead of himself without reading the keys that are required to him to do his job. And I think last week he settled down some and wanted to just kind of let the defense be called and then go play within the framework of what's asked. And that happens to a lot of players in football, especially older guys. They just feel like, I got to go make a play now. I got to go make a play. Rather than listen to the call, do your job, be interested. You'll make a play, right? And sometimes we try to press it. And that's just guys trying to do something a little bit more than they need to do.
Sean Lynch of the State Press. Herm, even when Colorado put a lot of guys in the box, Jaden was efficient running the ball. Do you think when he's able to efficiently run the ball that it kind of opens up the offense a little bit?
It does, because he, like all quarterbacks that can run, that's a concern for a defense, because it's the unscripted play. You don't practice defense well as a quarterback going to run. It's not a scripted play. Now, every once in a while you got a quarterback draw or something, or a lead with the back running up there. But for the most part, a lot of these quarterbacks in today's world, they're great athletes. And you can't script what kind of play he's going to, when he takes off to run. You can't script it like, you practice plays. That's what defense does. Offense practices against defenses. But the unscripted one, the unannounced one that just kind of pops up, those are the ones that scare you. And Jay's that kind of quarterback. He can go back and he'll see some things, and some things break down. He'll go make a first down for us. I think what I liked about Jaden last week was that he understood when the journey was over, and he got down. And that's what we talked about. Know when the journey's over, get down, don't take an unnecessary hit. You don't have to try to show people you're a tough guy. The tough guy is the guy that can play the next play when you play quarterback. Because, it's when the quarterback runs, people are coming after you. And we've hit a lot of quarterbacks this year, our defense, right? And I tell Jaden, you got to be careful. You got to know when it's over and slide. You did a good job. It's one of his better games, I thought, sliding and protecting himself.
Ray Belcora, Inferno Intel. We've talked a lot about developing a number one receiver, but on Saturday it was a pretty balanced receiving attack. 8 guys caught a pass. How do you feel about the overall receiving core and that balanced attack going into Saturday and the rest of the season?
I'm okay with it, but like any receiver, they're all needy, and they're always open. But there's only one ball. And I think when you have a balanced attack, you get more guys in the offense, and you have the ability to flow, and the only way you can do that is you have to run plays. You can't bog down offensively. When you can run 8 or 9 plays, everybody's going to get involved in it, whether it be the runners, the wide receivers. All of a sudden, you see them catch the ball and you smile. You go, okay, well, we had, 7, 8, 9 play drive. We brought Badger in the game. First time Badger touched the ball on a reverse, ran it in for a touchdown, right? So that was good to see, because he's got some run talent now. He's with the ball in his hand, he can make people miss, and we need guys like that. It reminds me a little bit of Ayuk. When he has the ball in his hand, he can make people miss. That's a good thing.
Coach, is it time to start considering Ricky as the emergency backup QB? In all seriousness, in all seriousness, his
Absolutely
impact,
not. No.
I mean, in all seriousness, his impact, whether it's be passing, running, on the end arounds and stuff like that, but the trick plays with the passing, just what is his impact overall?
He's probably the most consistent right now of all the receivers. And, you know, just a really good athlete. Can run, can pass some. Let's don't all of a sudden, you know, make him Sammy Ball or somebody. And probably too old. You know who that is. I shouldn't have said that. Anyway, Fran Tarkenton, they don't even know him. It doesn't matter. Okay. But let's don't make him all that. But I tell you what he is. He's kind of like the Swiss Army knife. He can do a lot of things. You know, he can. And it's fun to watch him develop. You know, he's been here since his freshman year, and now he is a guy that can make some things happen with the ball in his hand.